So this is a revisit, at least I think I already had a video on this thing, I don't remember, of this, oh god, 12,000 BTU, well actually, 12,001 BTU, I don't know what's with the, why couldn't it just be 12,000 BTU, but whatever. This is a LG, that can stand for largely garbage, lots of grief, lousy garbage, whatever you want it to stand for, really. However, this is actually one of LG's better units. This is a very top-end unit. This is a 220 volt unit. I know you can't see the plug, but trust me, that's a 220 plug. And I've done a few things. These tubes, these were the capillary tubes, and they were around here. And you can see they went around here, and they were all tied together with a zip tie. But they would vibrate, and you could hear them vibrating, and I don't want them to rub through each other. So as you can see, I took one of them, I went around it, and then over here, I did both of them. And that's simply some old fuel line that I had laying around. By old fuel line, I mean wasn't old, it never had fuel in it, it was new, but I mean it was just some fuel line I had laying around. And that seemed to do the trick. Those don't vibrate anymore. I've got them tied together and tied to this. These guys, these two were rubbing together. Well, not really rubbing together, but they were touching each other. And once again, I don't want them to rub together, so I wrapped these separately, then wrapped them both, going around here, because that was a bit worn out with tape. I also wrapped this guy right here, and yes, this is a hot line. Didn't do the whole thing, just there where it might rub against the sleeve. Coil's nice and clean. This already has a drain hole in the bottom of it from the factory. Kind of interesting. It just had a plug in the bottom, and I pulled the plug out. And I'm not talking about this one on the back. I'm talking about one that's directly on the bottom. I have the bleep bloop thing for this, the bleep blooper for this unit. Turn the fan down to low. And it's in really good shape. And I'll show you the information's on it. It's R22, 21.3 ounces of R22. And I ended up putting that SPT 12,000 BTU air conditioner in my room. I wanted to use this, but there were two factors. I didn't have a 220 volt outlet. Okay, that's fine. There's actually a terminated 220 volt circuit right underneath the room. I could have just put a junction box and ran a cord straight up through the floor there, just a small hole, and put a 220 volt outlet, you know, for this unit. And I don't have a problem with that. But the bigger issue was this box here. It's about, a little bit less than a centimeter probably. Too damn big for the window. Too wide. And it's really annoying because it just barely doesn't fit, to the point where I could probably squeeze it in there if I really did a lot of shoving and finagling. And I might still do that at some point, but right now I'm fine with my SPT unit. Although I really would rather have something with R22. Plus this seems to vibrate a lot less. It's put together a lot more solidly and it doesn't vibrate. Plus I like the side discharge chute, whatever you call this, I guess vent. I'm thinking of lawnmowers here, side discharge chute. This front grille needs to be cleaned, but bigger here. This is a 220 volt unit. It's also a lot larger than that SPT 12,000 BTU air conditioner, and the more surface area on the coils, the higher efficiency. Let's see, does it have an EER rating on here? Let's see. 230 volts is 1,220 watts, 5 amps, 12,000 BTU. We're not worried about the 208 volt. That's for three-phase buildings. We are not in a three-phase building. For heating, it's 15.3 amps. I don't use the heating. Screw heat. I like it freezing cold. I don't see any ER. Oh, here it is. 9.8. Okay, well that's not too great actually. But this unit runs really well. The only thing I'm worried about is right down there. That's getting a bit rusty, but I guess the rust actually doesn't hurt the coil like it'll actually damage the copper or anything. The coil is in good shape. The fan bearings sound good. And this unit runs really well. Produces a ton of condensation. It gets cold instantly when you turn it on. This line here does get a bit of frost on it, but it quickly defrosts in less than a minute, so you know it's not low on refrigerant. It's got one of these stupid vents. Once again, these things are useless. I mean, what good is that going to do? Blowing that little... Oh, it doesn't even... blowing that little bit of cold air outside. Here's the compressor. But, I guess I can put the front panel... I can't put it on there, but I can put it up to there so you get an idea what it looks like. Kind of plain Jane, but gets the job done. I'm normally not a big fan of LG units, but this one here is a higher end one. And this one here ain't all that bad. That scared the crap out of me. Because I really didn't want these to get abrased against each other. Although I looked at them, they seemed good. But before, they would vibrate back and forth. You could see them vibrating. Now they don't vibrate anymore. And I got one of these wrapped completely so that they're not going to rub against each other. That makes me feel a lot more comfortable about this. This here... I don't know what the hell's going on there, but it doesn't do that when you have it in its sleeve. I don't have a temperature gun, but the whole coil, as you can see, is cold. The whole thing, not just part of it. And the back coil is hot. Compressor's not too hot. I can keep my finger on it, no problem, which is good. And I do like... I really, even though I do like the vintage ones, the quality of the vintage ones, they last a lot longer, they work a lot better. There is something nice about just being able to turn it on, set it to the temperature you want it to keep it to, and it keeps it there, as opposed to turning it down, waiting for it to get there, then clicking it back up and having to decipher all of that. Plus the remote. You probably lose the remote, but having the remote is a nice feature. I also have the original owner's manual for this thing. I bought this at the same time as I bought that Gibson, by the way. So go ahead and turn it off here. Is the fan on high? Let me turn the fan up to high. Yeah. So the fan bearings are not bad. It looks like those are really close, but as you can see, they're not. It just looks like that from this angle. And here's the plug, just in case you didn't believe that it was indeed a 220 volt unit. Now I guess I can put it on heat, although it's not really gonna do much help, is it? So it's just electric strip heat. Oh, look at all that water that poured out of it. It's just electric strip heat. It's not a heat pump, so the compressor's not going to kick on. So there's not really anything to see. It's just coil heat. This is hot air here, It's not extremely hot, but, you know, it would definitely heat your room quite well. The beeping gets annoying. I hate the beeping. Whoa. Those doors just opened themselves. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you guys later. Hopefully I don't get eaten by a ghost.